Hey there, this is Akshat Madan and welcome back to a new video. And from this video, I will be publishing some Golang projects on my channel. This is the first Golang video for my channel. So that's why I'm going to cover some of the basics. Why do we need Go? Why Go was invented and for what purpose this Golang was created. And we are going to create a very simple web server using Golang, right? So we are going to create some of the APIs. We are going to see what is the syntax of Go looks like. And the main purpose of this video is also to introduce you with Go. So first of all, you need to understand why Go was created when we already have some efficient languages like C and C++. And on the other side, we have programming languages like Python and JavaScript, which don't take a lot of time to build, but they are not as efficient as C and C++, and they're also not very fast, right? So that's why we needed a language which exists between these two languages, which is efficient also, fast also, and does not take a lot of time to build. That's why Go came into existence, and it is used to build secure, simple, and scalable systems. So production grade systems can be built using Golang. And as you can see, there are a lot of companies, big techs are using Golang. Google, PayPal, American Express, Meta, Cloudflare, right? So because Go is reliable and efficient, that's why these big techs are using Golang. You don't know, but Docker, right, the containerization tool, and Cockroach database are built over Golang itself. So because now we trust Golang, so let's go ahead and download it. So you can directly go to go.dev and click on the download button. So if you are on Linux, Mac, and Windows, the process will be a bit different. But for all of them, you can see we have the MSI package, we have the PKG file, we have the tar file. So it is very simple to download it. You can directly download this MSI file, directly double click on next, and the Golang will be installed in your system. You don't have to do any other step, right? So once you have downloaded and installed Go MSI, then you will be able to start utilizing Go in your system. So I have created this simple Go projects folder in my system in VS Code, and I'm going to create one folder inside it, which is called first server. And don't worry, all of this code I'm going to provide you on GitHub as a free repository. So you can check the description for that. So in the first server, I want my first server to be built, right? I'm building a server. So just like in Python, you start main.py, over here also you can directly start main.go. Or in JavaScript, you start index.js file. Over here also you can directly start main.go. Okay. As soon as you create a Go file, you need to define what is the package, right? Which package for which you are building this Go project, right? So whatever the file name, usually we keep the package name also as similar. So package main. Okay, so this is the first step. If you don't write this, it is going to show red and it will show error. So as soon as you define package main, it defines, the Golang understands that you are going to write the code in package main. Okay, perfect. Now we can scroll down and you can start importing some of the things. So what are we building in this video? We are building a simple web server which takes a few requests and returns some responses. Okay, so this won't be like simple hello world, but we are going to work with some get and post calls. We are also going to build a simple form in HTML and HTML, not CSS, and we're going to see how post call works, right? And in the later videos, I'm going to increase the level, increment the level one by one, right? Okay, but for this video, let's stick to the basics. As soon as you have defined your package main, you have to import some of the packages, other packages, right, which pre-exist in Go language. Okay, so write import and define these circle brackets. Now in these, you need to define some of the packages. So the first thing that I need is FMT. Okay, what is the use case of this? I'm going to tell you very soon, right? And just after that, you need to define, because you want to work with HTTP package, like in JavaScript, in Node.js, we have HTTP. In Dart, Flutter also we have HTTP. So in Golang also we have HTTP. In Python also we have HTTP. Okay, so just write net/HTTP and your HTTP package will be there for you to get used. And I'm going to disable my Copilot so that it does not disturb us with pre-generated code. Okay, perfect. So this is done. Now the next thing that you need to do is we need to start our server. Okay, we need to start our server. So for starting our server, you need to define a function main, right? So just like any other programming language, we also define a function by circle brackets, then curly brackets. In Python, we used colon, but just like Dart and just like C++ and Java, we define a function by circle brackets and curly brackets. Okay. Now in this, I need to start my server. So for starting the server, first of all, what I'm going to write is I'm going to print a statement. Okay, fmt. So for printing, so you can see my fmt package has a lot of things, and so one of the use case of fmt is also this print statements, right? So write print ln means next line, ln fmt dot print ln, and just write server is running on port. I'm going to run my server on port 8080. Okay, so just write 8080. Okay, that's it. And like in like in JavaScript and Python, we used to write this is the line, and if it succeeds, like try catch block, right? In JavaScript, Python, Dart, we all had the try catch block, right? You define something, if that fails, then it used to go in the catch block, right? Over here, the concept is same, but the syntax is a bit different, right? You define it like this: if something goes wrong, right? And that something goes wrong, we are storing in the ERR, that is error variable, right? If something goes wrong, then you need to store that error in this error. But what are we doing that can actually lead to an error? So now write that line which can lead to an error, or the task that you want to do. So in my case, I want to start the server and listen on port 8080. This is the task, right? So for that, you need http package, http.listen and serve, right? Listen and serve. Now in strings, in string format, you define your port 8080. Okay. And over here define nil. So in other programming languages, we have null, and over here we have nil, right? So nil is just the handler. What I want to do when my server starts. Currently, I don't want to do anything. So just define nil. So this is just a handler, as you can see, right? Now I need to write the condition where this, I have to fill in this error, right? So this error should be filled if my error is not equal to nil. That means some error is there. So if error is not equal to nil, then you need to, error is not equal to nil, then the error will go and be filled in this error variable, right? And I will be printing one statement, server is not running. So fmt dot print ln, again, ln we use for next line, server is not running. Okay, that's it. Great. So now let's do one thing. Let's try to run this main.go. So now let's try to run the server. But first of all, I need to go inside my first server folder. Okay, so cd first server, and now run main.go file. Go run main.go. So there are two things. Either you can directly run the main.go file, or you can build your complete Golang project, right? You build it when you are ready for production, or you want to completely check out your build, or you want to create an executable. Then you create a build, not a problem. And whenever you are just trying to test a function, or you just want to test your file, Go file, then you can directly run your file. So that's why I'm just running my file, go run main.go. Now you can see server is running, so there is some permission. So let's allow it. So I've allowed my Golang function, whatever the pop-up came, so that it can access the private network. So that was the permission. And you can see server is running on port 8080. So now let's go to our port 8080 and see if that is working. So localhost 8080, and you can see page not found. But if my server was not running, then this page not found would not have come. You can see if I just stop my server, if I go back and refresh, it's running. You can see site can't be reached. So 404 is coming because we are not doing anything on the main route, on the slash route, right? We are not doing anything. We have not implemented a function. So that's why 404 was coming, right? But our server was on. Okay, so I'm just allowing that permission. Great. Now let's go ahead and start writing some of the functions, right? So in the main function itself, I'm going to write a http dot handle function which handles a route. So first of all, I want to handle the main index route, right? So in this, what should happen? I want to run a function. This function returns a response. So right, so that response we write. So that's why we denote it by W. So it is going to be a HTTP response. So HTTP dot response writer, and we get a request. So request, we define it by this R. Okay, R, then star, and then we say http.request. Okay, now whenever I go to this route, then I need to say greetings, right? So you define greetings by fmt again, fmt dot fprint. So fprint is going to return my response, and where I want to return my response, I want to return my and this p is small, I want to return my response through this response writer, http response writer. So define w, right? And what is your message? Your message is greetings, like this. Okay, so this is my index route. Okay, great. Now let's see if this works. So again, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to cut this, go run main.go, allow. And now let's go to our, you can see greetings. You can also return a response in the JSON format. That's up to you, right? Now we are going to talk about it. Don't worry about it. But for now, I can see that if I return a string through my response writer, it works. Okay. Now let's try to see how you can accept some query parameters, right? So let's accept some query parameters. So for that, query parameters you pass through the form, right? So let's say we write a function. So http dot handle function, and you need to define the route. So let's say this is add, because I need to pass two variables, num1 and num2, and it is going to return me the addition of those two numbers. Again define function, and again define w, that is your http dot response writer, and then you can define r star http dot request, and then you can define you need to parse the form. So for that, whatever request that you have got, r dot parse form. Okay, the next thing that you need to do is you need to get your values. So a is a variable. So in this a, I need to store the value that I have got through the form. So r, that is my request, dot form value, and the query parameter, the query key is going to be a itself. I'm going to show you how this a and b are going to work, right? And this is how we define variables in Golang. So you'd use this colon and is equal to, and it automatically gets the type of this value that you are passing, right? You don't need to explicitly define the data type. Okay, so that's the beauty of Go. Now you define b, then is equal to r dot again form value, and the variable name is going to be b. Okay, so a and b I have got. Now I need to convert these a and b to integers, right? So a int, comma, in converting to integers, I may get an error, because if the user passes a, b, c, d, then that's a character, not a number. So some error can come. So error 1, then again I'm going to use this colon and is equal to, then I use string conversion function, string conversion class, right? So string conversion, then this has a function. So a to I, this is a function. A means that string, and I need to convert to integers. So I, so a to I, right? So what variable you need to convert? A you need to convert. Similarly, write it for b. So b int, comma, error 2 is equal to string conversion dot a to I b. Okay, so these are now my integer values, but something can go wrong in these conversions. So that's why I'm going to check if my error 1 and error 2 are nil or not. Okay, so if my error 1 is not equal to nil, that means some error is there, or my error 2 is not equal to nil, right? Then I need to return some error response. So http dot error, so http dot error, and you need to pass your error through w, and your message will be invalid input, and then you define http dot status bad request. You are just defining your status, http dot status bad request. Okay, but if this is not the case, that means you got both the values correctly, then you need to say fmt dot print f, and over here you define w, that means your response writer, and then you define addition of percentage d, so that it gets the value a in, right? And percentage d and percentage d is going to be is percentage d. Now this d, d. So this d is int, this d is bint, and this d is int plus bint. Okay. So you define all the three values, int, bint, and then int plus bint, int plus bint. That's it. Okay. So what's the issue in this w? Okay, printf is not the case, it is f print, my mistake. And this is small p. And this f is capital. Great. Now I think we can go ahead and again run our main.go. Allow. Great. Now let's go to our server. And over here, if I just pass in the values, so I need to first of all go to my route /add. I hope you can see the URL that I'm writing, /add, write question mark. Then the first query parameter is a is equal to 6, and then write and your b, which is your second query parameter, let's say 8. So answer should be 14. So if I hit enter, you can see, okay, so there is some issue. Addition of percentage. Okay, let's see what is the issue. Got it. So okay, we forgot format. We forgot to write printf. So if you just write f, then it is not going to understand what you're writing, right? You need to format this thing also, right? So that this positional variables take the respective values. Okay, now it should work. And you can see the error is also gone. Okay, now let's again start the server. Allow. Go back. And if you hit again, you can see addition of 6 and 8 is 14. Perfect. So now now you also know how to pass query parameters to a route, go route. Okay, perfect. Now let's start working with some forms. So that form I need to create in my index.html file. I'm going to just create a basic HTML file, and that we can use to accept some values and hit a post call. Right, this was still a get call, and first one was also get call. Now see how to write post calls. Okay, so I'm going to create a folder inside this first server. This is called static. Okay, you need to name this folder this only, otherwise it won't be able to read your index.html file, right? And then define index.html file. Now to save your time, I have already created an HTML file, which has, I'm going to show you what is there inside it. Let me bring the code. So here is the code. So basically what inside this code is, first of all, again, HTML tag to start my HTML page. Then I just have a title which says Go Server Edition. I'm again using the edition function itself, but this time I'm going to accept the values through a form, HTML form. Then again a heading, addition of 2 numbers. Then I have defined a simple form which has 2 inputs. One for number 1, another for number 2. So I have label and input, and then I have a button which says submit. Then I'm getting the num1 and num2, and then I'm using these num1 and num2 in my post call. So you can see that this is the data I created, a simple JSON, and you can see this data I'm passing in my body of my post call. And this post call I'm making to /add from route, which I'm just going to create in main.go. Okay, if my response is okay, then I'm going to fill the result HTML component with the result. If something goes wrong, then I'm going to fill it with error. Okay, error.message. Perfect. So this is a very basic HTML file. You will get it in my GitHub repository. Now let's go back to main.go, and now I'm going to start writing my the post call. Okay, so let's start writing that. So again, I'm going to define. So first of all, you need to make sure that your server is able to access your index.html file, which I'm going to show on my index route, the main index route, or we can create another route for that. Let's say we create another route called /math form to show this form. Okay, so to access my index.html, what I need to do is I am going to say fs, it's just a variable name, http.fileserver. So that's why fs, basically to show file server, file server, and in this you define your directory. So directory is http.directory, and define the location of that directory, which is /static. /static. So it's inside the static folder. Okay, Then the next thing that you need to do is you need to handle a function http.handle, and you need to define a route. On this route, I'm going to show my index.html. So say slash math.form, okay, slash, and now you need to define http dot strip prefix. What is the use case of this strip prefix? I'm going to tell you. Slash math form, and then you can define your fs. So basically, if you will skip this strip prefix, then it will expect your HTML file inside your math form folder. So if you don't write this, then you have to define your index.html like this, math/form, and then this HTML has to go inside this. Then your code will work. But we don't want that. I want to keep my index.html in static folder directly. So that's why I need to write this line, http.strip prefix. Okay, great. Now if I save this, if we run the server again, allow, go back and define the location as math/form, you can see my HTML code is working fine. Addition of two numbers, number 1, number 2, and then I have the add button also. Now let's write down the post call so that our simple HTTP server is completed. Okay, so let's define this over here, http.handle function, and over here I'm going to define my route as add form, right, and define a simple function which has a response writer w http.response writer, and then I have request http.request, and then you can define like this. And over here I'm going to first of all check if my request method is post or not. So if r.method is not equal to http.method post, then there is some issue. So I'm going to return http.error, and in this error I'm going to say w invalid request. Okay, and the status will be http.status method not allowed. Okay, and then you return nothing, come out of it. Okay, the next thing, I need to parse the body. Okay, so in parsing the body, some issue can come, some error can come. So if error, right, r.parse form, and in this, if error is not equal to null, then assign it to error variable, and again you can say the same thing, and and your error will be can't parse body. Okay, and this will be status bad request. Okay, if these two issues are not there, that means our body is correct and we can start working with our logic. Okay, so again I'm going to use this code again. So if let's use this AB. So if a let's define it like this, num1 string is going to be num1, and num2, this you can go away, num2 string can be num2. Okay, so these two are done. Now it can be like this, and this can be num1 int, and this can be num1, this will be num2 int, and this will be num2. Okay, num1 string and num2 string. So errors are gone. Now we need to see if error 1 and error 2 are nil, right? So let's go ahead and copy this. Okay, so if error 1 is not equal to nil and error 2 is not equal to nil, then I'm going to say this. Otherwise, I can go ahead and calculate the result. So result is equal to, so my result equal to num1 plus num2, num1 int plus num2 int. Okay, so this is done. And the next thing that I can do is I can create a response, which will be in the JSON format. So response is equal to map at string interface. So interface in the form of like curly brackets, and my interface will look like this. I will have result key, and I'll have the result value. Okay, great. So this is done, and now I can set the response headers. So it will be w dot header dot set content type application slash JSON, application slash JSON. Okay, and then you define your JSON. So you will need to import encoding slash JSON. So hit enter and it will automatically import dot new encode, new encoder. W is my response writer. So W dot encode it to in the form of response that I created, right? So this is the type. Great. Now I think our server is ready to go. So let's save it, and again let's stop it, rerun it. Server is running, allow it. Now let's go back, refresh it, and then if I write 5, if I write 6, and if I add, okay, so there is some issue, invalid input. Okay, number 1, number 2. So I think the body might be wrong. So let's check the body variable. Okay, this is the issue. Why I wrote W, I don't know. Okay, now it should be ready. Let's see if, yeah, I think there should not be any other issue. Let's save it, let's rerun it, allow it. Let's go here and let's refresh. Let's write 6, let's write 7, add, answer is 13. Perfect. And if I write A over here, add invalid input, right? So you can see it's not giving me the correct response. Okay, so I think our this thing is ready. The last thing that I want to tell you is how to build it. Instead of running, if you want to build your executable, then first of all, you need to initialize your Go project into this folder. So go mod init. So there is some issue. Go must be specified, cannot determine module path for source directory outside Go path. Module path must be this go mod init, example this. Okay, yeah. So go mod init, and the name of my project is first server. Perfect. So you can see go.mod file is created. Now I can go ahead and build it. So go build main. Package main is not in std. Okay, let's say go build. Yes, you can see first server.exe. Perfect. So let's double click on it. You can directly open it from your folder structures. Let me just go ahead and see where is my project. So go projects, first server.exe. If I double click on it, allow it, and you can see server is running on port 8080, right? So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to publish this code on GitHub, and you can also take a look, but I would really suggest that you code on your own. So I hope you enjoyed the project. If you want more Golang projects, then please let me know in the comment section. Until the next video, keep coding, keep innovating, and thanks a lot.